In the Creator's name, I welcome and thank everyone who at least made it out this evening. I'm going to at least, since the vice president of our organization, she's kind of like a hatchet lady, because she has to make sure, Liz, that we stay on track and do what we're supposed to do. So with about 4 minutes or less, again, in the Creator's name, I welcome everyone. I'll be on hand in case I need to bring the podium down because we have some speakers who may be a little bit height challenged in comparison to others. With about 3 minutes and something odd seconds left, you learn how to speak well, straight and to the point when you live in a city like Cleveland, Ohio. Because a lot of meetings you can only speak up to 3 minutes, except, the one thing that East Cleveland and a few other regions have better than Cleveland is, at least on a city hall level, on a Monday city council meeting, you can't speak for your 3 minutes in advance. The one thing I can also say that we also are here for is that we realize that if you're going to at least be a part of anybody, any place, anything to count, and do your best to at least cut city council members, if you can't reach city council people beforehand, just think how we will be affected on the east side should we lose city council people who can represent all of us at a better pace. With about 2 minutes left, there are a lot of people who honestly, they complain about a lot, just to be complaining. President of Black on Black Crime Incorporated, I can say a couple of things, and that is, there are people who would say, well, you should wait to honor Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on a government holiday instead of looking at his actual birthday. There are those people who complain when you have Republicans show up to at least show support. There are people who complain when you open up your doors and you allow Democrats to show up. There are people who have every reason in the world to be grateful and thankful, but they complain about every last thing in the world instead of getting up off of themselves. And it's all right to enjoy Netflix, sports, a few other things in your smartphone, which is turning into a babysitting television screen. But it takes a lot more effort. Instead of going to check people on their posts online and do a few other things, get up off your behind and do some work yourself. So with about a minute left, I would like to at least challenge people, for all those who want to put it on social media or do anything else, before you point your finger out at everybody else, look in the mirror. Check what you're doing. Before you go argue with people on what they're doing, support yourself and set that example. If you don't set that example, then it causes more people out there in the streets, and the reason that you have people who are active or activists is because of my Messiah, if Yahweh, Yahshua, the Messiah, was activist. Jesus was active. He got out there in the streets and did what was necessary, that we all should be striving to be more Christ-like, from pastors to people who are here. Be active, do things, less complaining unless you're going to get on the front lines and help with everything from petitions to you name it. I am done. I'm passing the microphone. Thank you once again. My name, humbly speaking, Al Porter, president of Black on Black Crime Incorporated, and I'm thankful to be here this evening. Oh, don't worry. What's next is coming through here. If somebody who needs no introduction, he can introduce himself.
Good afternoon. Let me get up to this podium. Good evening, rather.
Good evening.
So, my name is Billy Sharp, and I'm president of the Urban League Guild. And I joined you on this occasion last year. So I have to start out with a bit of an apology, because us in leadership can never be too strong-headed to offer an apology when we've made a mistake. So this time last year, in my zeal to ring the alarm about the house is still burning, I made the comment that no council person on the east side of Cleveland had been prepared for the construction tsunami that I believe is coming to the east side of Cleveland. I made that mistake in omitting my council person, Kevin Conwell of Ward 9, has a plan and had a plan at the time, and that plan is beginning to take effect. So to my council person, I publicly apologize to him that I omitted that. Now, it wasn't my original remarks to say that Councilman Conwell was the only one that had a plan, but in my zeal, I looked over it, so I apologize to him. Okay, so let me get started. As I alluded to, I came to you last year talking about the question was, what would Martin Luther King think about the state of black leadership in Cleveland? I surmised that he would think we were grappling with the same issues that he was grappling with in his time. So towards the end of his journey, he began to realize that where he was leading his people seemed to him to be in a house that was burning. So I came last year to ring the alarm and say the house was still burning. So this year, I will do the same and take my task from Donald Walker Brown and answer the question about criminal justice reform in the city of Cleveland. And so that's where I'll start. So I want to ask you, before I begin, I'm going to ask you to pray for me, and I'll tell you why. What I'm about to engage in, and what I engaged in last time, is what in high school I was told I would never be able to do, which is use my mind and not my hand. Because I have what's called dyslexia, and in the type that I have, words jump off the page, so on and so forth, and things can be a bit confusing when you're trying to digest words. So I've managed to be a successful person dealing with that, but I came to the realization that we do young people a disservice when we don't explain to them how do we get to where we are. And if I continue to get up and speak and do different things and not explain to people what it was that I dealt with and still dealing with, I think we do them a disservice. So I encourage all of us to begin to tell our story. Okay, so let me start. If we go back to October 26, 1967, we would find Martin Luther King speaking to a group of students at Burritt Junior High School in Philadelphia. He started out by discussing with the kids. His phrase was, "What is in your life blueprint?" What is in your life blueprint? So as I thought about this speech that I was going to give today, I stumbled upon this speech that Dr. King was giving. And at first glance, it seemed like this speech didn't really have anything to do with criminal justice. But as I delved deeper into the speech, I noticed there were some glaring simulations to what it is that we deal with today. Dr. King explained to them that at this point in their life was very important, that what they would do now and what they would do what they would do now and the decisions that they make now would very well define what would happen in the future in their lives. So he began to say, he gave them three things that he believed should be in their life blueprint. Number one, a deep belief that they matter, a deep belief in themselves, a deep determination to succeed, and a commitment to beauty, life, and justice. So as we look at criminal justice reform in the city of Cleveland, how does that apply? Well, let me give you some numbers. In 2010, the Census Bureau estimated that the African American population was 42 million. 42 million. 42 million in 2010. 14% of the population. At that time, almost 2 million African Americans were in prison. African Americans get incarcerated at 5 times the rate of white Americans. So I had a couple of questions. What happens with the census this year and why is it important? Anybody know? What happens with the census this year and why is it important? Well, this year we take the census. And why is it important? Because we live with those results for 10 years. That's resources and representation. Now, my second question was, where are most prisons located? Anybody know? In rural areas. So now, rural areas get the count from those prisons that are in their area. That's resources and representation. Now, we would say, well, we don't want a prison anywhere near our house. But then there's our resources and representations, and according to the numbers, some of us, we reside in prison. So those are our family members that we don't get resources and representations for. I can remember our illustrious former councilwoman Fannie Lewis in Ward 7, when they wanted to relocate the juvenile court system, she said, I'll take it. Look at what's going on over there in that area. She could see the big picture. We need to be doing more of that. We need to be doing more of seeing the big picture. So it sounds like to me, a criminal justice reform blueprint is needed. So I submit to you, the realization is that some of us believe that we've made it. We believe that we've made it so much that in 2016, some of us said, it's not important for me to go out and vote. The residual effect of that is, today we find ourselves potentially preparing to send our sons and daughters to war. Some of us believe that we've made it so much that we believe that we can afford to have a reduction in city council and cut our representation. Now, why would we believe that at this point that we can cut our representation? In the city of Lexington, Kentucky, 47% of that community is African American. Do you know how many council people they have that are African American? 1. I'm here to tell you that we have not made it. We have not made it. So the need for us to come up with a comprehensive criminal justice reform blueprint is apparent. That is apparent, that we need to come up with a comprehensive criminal justice reform plan. Now, so where do you fit in a comprehensive criminal justice reform plan? It's whatever it is that you do. Most of us in this room are activists. We get up every day towing the line. We get up every day towing the line. I know I do. I know Donna does. I know Councilman does. We need to be doing that in our everyday lives. So I want to quote Dr. King on something that he said. If you can't be the pine at the top of the hill, be a shrub. If you can't be a tree, be a bush. If you can't be a highway, be a trail. If you can't be the sun, be a star. But whatever it is, be the best. Because it's not the size of, by the size whether you win or lose, but it is that you do your best. So, Dr. King suggests as we organize and plan on behalf of criminal justice, we have to get behind a blueprint that can be militant, but not at the same time not destroy life or property. Our slogan shouldn't be burn, baby, burn. It shouldn't be burn, baby, burn. It should be build, baby, build. Organize, baby, organize. Yes, our struggle has to be learn, baby, learn. So we can earn, baby, earn. I believe when all of us get behind a cohesive criminal justice plan, we can guarantee equal opportunity within the criminal justice system for the future. I would like to conclude this discussion the same way that Dr. King concluded his discussion some time ago. Quote, "We must keep moving. We must keep going. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, keep moving." So to help us with this, I bought this is from the state. This is a 2020 calendar. So as you organize and strategize, there's a calendar in here. It has my contact information, but it gives you all the days of the month. And if you ever get discouraged, in the very back, it chronicles Dr. King's mission for 2 pages. So if you get discouraged on pushing on and keep on going on, take a look at this every now and then. So I had limited copies. I don't know if I have enough for everybody, but for anybody who wants one, I'll be in the back of the room. So I thank you again for letting me come and share a couple of words with you. Thank you so much.
Our next speaker, because we're so crowded, I'm going to stay here. Our next speaker is Judge Wanda Jones, and she's going to give us some